Global Climate Change Alliance Plus Scaling Up Pacific Adaptation, or SUPA project, is funded by the European Union and implemented by Pacific regional organizations. The project focuses on expanding previous interventions to adapt to climate change in 10 Pacific Island countries. Spread across the Pacific Ocean from Palau in the northwest to Cook Islands in the southeast, and from Marshall Islands to Tonga, youth are working with local organizations and government agencies to restore degraded mangroves, beaches and coral reefs, which are threatened by climate change and man's own actions. Along some low-lying coasts, mangroves have been cleared for development, leaving communities vulnerable to inundation by the sea, especially during extreme events such as cyclones and typhoons. Plastic waste is harming marine organisms and often ending up on the region's beaches. Predatory species such as the crown-of-thorns starfish are destroying coral reefs. The GCCA Plus SUPA project is working with youth in the region to help address these issues. In Tonga, the 7-kilometer stretch of coast between Fo'ui and Sopu is characterized by a mangrove belt which has been heavily modified. In places, the mangroves have been removed so that communities can access the lagoon and reclaim land for building. With support from the SUPA project, the ministry responsible for climate change is working with communities and youth to restore the mangrove green belt. In June 2021, more than 50 youth participated in a one-week workshop to learn about the importance of mangroves and to start work on replanting and restoring the mangrove belt. They learned about the different types of mangroves and their uses. They visited the mangrove nursery and then started work on planting the mangroves. After the workshop finished, the youth participants promised to continue the work and make it sustainable.
But there were a lot of things that I took out from it, which is the importance of mangroves, helping our climate change, and also what I learned and what I would like to emphasize on is the sustainability and what we need to do from not only just that we learn it and we stop there, but how can we do it, like pass it on to generation and to generation from now on.
Turning towards the beach and the ocean, students in Palau are tackling the problem of plastic pollution. This is a global problem, impacting land and water ecosystems from the polar regions to the tropics. With the help of their teachers and national organizations and the support of the SUPA project, youth in Palau are contributing to the Big Microplastic Survey, a worldwide program pioneered by the University of Portsmouth in the United Kingdom. High school students learn to lay out a rectangle on the beach and collect sand samples within the rectangle. They then use seawater and a simple kitchen sieve to filter out the tiny microplastic and shell pieces from the sand samples. Once back in the classroom, they dry, sort and record the microplastics. The data is compiled by the students and transmitted to the university in the UK. After each monitoring session, students conduct a beach cleanup. This monitoring activity has been aligned with the school curriculum for science and environmental science, providing for its continuation. Shifting now to the ocean and the coral reef systems, youth in the Cook Islands in the southern Pacific Ocean are helping to control an outbreak of the crown-of-thorns starfish. These large predatory starfish measure around 40 centimeters in diameter and have many arms covered in poisonous spines. They occur naturally throughout the Pacific Ocean, and when conditions are right, their populations expand rapidly and they devastate hard coral reefs. With the help of national organizations and the support of the SUPA project, students in Mauke Island in the southern group of the Cook Islands are learning about the crown-of-thorns starfish and the threat they pose to the coral reef systems. 2 local youth have been trained in free diving and safety techniques so they can handle and remove the crown-of-thorns starfish from the coral reefs. Over a 2-day period in May 2021, 119 starfish were removed from the reef. The infested area was measured and mapped, and underwater footage was collected. The regular removal of the crown-of-thorns starfish will be incorporated into the project's traditional knowledge and outreach program, which involves youth, community members, fishers and elders. And turning now to the Marshall Islands, where youth are telling the Pacific story about climate change through art and culture. The positive energy and commitment that youth action brings to the scaling up of climate change adaptation is evidence of a positive message for Pacific Island countries going forward.